Jatta. As an elder within the ASE Collective, I've been given the honor to initiate tonight's program by recognizing, respecting, and referencing the ancestors whose shoulders we stand on and our elders whose shadows we walk in. Ancestral spirits, we call upon you today. We stand before you, ancestors, spirits of the land, sea, and sky, guides of our past, protectors of our present. We honor your wisdom, your strength, and your sacrifices. To those who came before, who walked this earth with dignity and grace, who sowed the seeds of our existence, we offer our gratitude, our respect, our devotion. Today, we especially honor our brothers and sisters who had found solitude on the soil of Africa and have passed on in countries such as Ghana and Gambia. Our ancestors who in life sought to uplift and protect the community. May their spirits find peace and continue to inspire us. May our ancestors carry forth their mission of care and unity, recognizing the need for the enhanced safety and security. We, the ASE Collective, stand on the values of Uadilafu, Umoja, and Ujima, committed to fostering an environment of mutual respect and protection. For all diasporas, Africans, home and abroad, may the ancestral spirits continue to give us blessings, to give us courage, to empower us, to thrive, to create a safer, more supportive network. Honoring the principles of balance, harmony, and justice, I pour these words as sacred libations to our ancestors. May they reach you in the realms beyond, and may your spirits continue to guide us in unity, in love, in the internal circle of life. Ashe. Amen.
Greetings, everybody. How y'all doing? Again, my name is Chief Fode Ajamu Mesere, also known as Mensa Fode Ajamu. I serve as the president for the ASE Collective, which is the African-Centred Emergency Collective. And today is actually our fourth town hall. The first two were physical. Charles Reese, can you please mute your mic?
Yeah. Everyone mute your mic.
Yeah.
You get feedback. Thank you.
All right. So this is the fourth ASE Collective. This is the second virtual ASE Collective town hall meeting. We do these so that we are able to report back to the community and also develop the conversation around safety and security on the continent for African diasporans. Very, very important, cause that we're organized and rallied around. I just wanted to welcome everybody for taking the time to be here and to be present with us for this important conversation. Today, we'll be discussing three very important issues that has taken place since the last town hall. And I believe that this getting some reports from the ground on certain issues, also getting some clarity around what's going on with those issues now and what we can do in order to be part of coming to a final solution with these issues. So the first issue is, of course, the update on the campaign for the Free Elder Ras Dawda Campaign in the Gambia. ASE Collective ourselves were mobilized at that point. We were very, integral in getting correct information out to the community out abroad that was showing concern for our brother while he was incarcerated. We don't necessarily believe that there's a limit to the emergencies that we should be able to respond to, including when there's a great injustice, including an arrest of someone from the diaspora. We will always swing into action and do what we can in any case. And so we will be talking about that. We'll also be talking about the civil unrest in Tanzania. One of our strong ASE Collective members, Charles. Okay. Yeah, so one of our strong ASE Collective members, Sister Abina, she lives in Tanzania, and she actually was directly on lockdown during their unrest. And hopefully she's here, or she will be coming on soon, and she'll be able to chime in from the ground. If not, we'll still have the conversation. And then lastly, the Hurricane Melissa impact in Jamaica, and some of the activities that has been done around the world to educate people about it, including a festival that took place here in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and some things that's still being planned. I know that there's a Africa for Jamaica like virtual conference coming up, or virtual concert coming up, where people from all around Africa is going to be doing like a virtual concert, artists, and raising resources to send home to Jamaica. And then, of course, we'll have an open dialogue as a community. We'll talk about various topics openly. Then, because this is a working meeting, we are actually in conference here. We will be having some community dialogue with Q&A, and we'll also be talking about some action plan and next steps concerning what we do collectively as a collective. We love to operate with the consensus of the people. Your feedback is valued, and feel free. So the next thing we're moving into now, I believe, is introduction of our facilitators and recognition of participating regions. So first thing I want to do is, again, introduce myself. I'm Chief Fode Ajamu Mensere, serve as the president for the ASE Collective, among other things. And I live in Freetown, Sierra Leone, where I've lived for the last 12 years.
Yes, greetings, everyone. My name is Kenya Malike Mensere. I serve as the Public Relations Officer for the ASE Collective, and I too currently live in Freetown, Sierra Leone for 10 years now.
Thank you. Mama Jalika? Your mic.
Mute.
Okay. Zeb, are you there? I think
Yes.
wrong.
Oh, okay. Right. My name's Jalika Jatta. I'm part of the team, international coordinator here in Gambia. I live in Gambia and I've lived here for 5 years.
Thank you. Brother Zeb?
Greetings, everyone. I'm Zeb
Greetings.
Allen. I'm an international coordinator on the diplomacy team with ASE. I am relocating in Gambia, but at the moment I am in the UK.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And so I believe that's those of us who are executive here representing the collective. We also have to pay homage and salutes to our comrades who can't be here today, who aren't here yet today. Mama Abina, as well as Sister Niara, Baba FM. There's a possibility Baba FM will be able to chime in through voice note, but I don't think he'll be, because he's traveling today. So today we're gonna hold it down, team. It's enough of us. It's always enough of us to hold it down. I want to give opportunity for people out there to actually introduce themselves, but do it in the private chat. In the private chat, go to the private chat and say who you are. You know, where you coming, you know, where you at, and if any organization you're representing here at the town hall today, do them inside of the inbox, the chat. It would take too much time for us to go around one by one, but we do want to know who you are and where you're tapping in from, and if any organization you're representing. Very, very important. So rolling right forward, I know that if we can briefly engage in the chat. All right, it's coming in now. Okay, greetings. I'm here in Benin on the ground in Kano. What's that? Cotonou. That is Sister Phoenix Rain. Greetings, sister. How you doing? You have and Phoenix is already a part of the ASE Collective as well. I should have called her name earlier. And then also we have Deborah Sawyer. Greetings to you all. My name is Deborah from the Gambia, Thank you for having me. And you're so welcome for being here. Thank you. Nina from Birmingham, England, relocating to the Gambia. Okay. It's the Gambia, Team Gambia. Okay. Yeah, man. Well, we're going to make sure everyone's safe. We have to keep ourselves safe out here in Africa, y'all. That's what this is all about. Making sure we know each other. We're networked. We have some kind of policy among ourselves. My name is Marcia. I'm from London, but we'll be relocating to Parang, Gambia. Oh, man, Gambia in the building. Oh, my goodness. Hi, Paulette. Hi, Paulette, listening from UK. Future planning for the Gambia. Oh, I'm jealous. I'm getting jealous, man. Mama Jalika, I'm getting jealous. What about Sierra Leone? No one likes Sierra Leone? Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. That means that we have some new people arriving in Gambia soon in the future that's going to be a part of us. And
that's my people, my people.
Okay, Mama Jalika.
That's right. That's beautiful. That's right. Well, they're in good hands, for sure, with you. For sure. All right, so I want to move ahead so we can get into the conversation of it. And feel free as we go to, introduce yourself in the chat, and I'll give you a shout out as we go, so we can make sure we know who all we got with us. But the UK is well represented, and Gambia is in the building. All right, so move right forward. I want to go into the update on the Free Elder Ras Dawda Campaign, which took place in the Gambia. The first point of discussion was the summary of the current situation surrounding the detention of Elder Ras Dawda, also known as Simon David Emanuel. I don't know if you guys have the actual dates of his arrest and release.
No, I have to look at it.
But
no, I have his release. But not in terms of the arrest.
Okay.
But we can easily find it.
Okay. So can we get a summary from the ground from you in terms of, what was the situation like? How did it go down from your own perspective? I know we was at a distance, we was on call, but we also were closely related to the people who were first responding to the situation. So maybe your insight will help other people understand some things too.
What I will say and what I will read proper information in terms of the journalists that wrote what happened, instead of having hearsay information from different people. So what happened, and how it all started, a 71-year-old elder was arrested in his own home in Batakunko area of Gambia. He was humiliated in front of his children and neighbors and detained by the police, and then later released on bail. 4 months later, which I think it happened in June, and 4 months later, when he thought that all was behind him, he was summoned to court in Bundun and charged with possession of drugs under the Section 35(2) of the Drug Control Amendment Act 2024. The elder pleaded guilty before magistrates, and the prosecution asked for an adjournment to present the case details, which the court granted. But David was sent to Mile 2 prison until the 10th of November. While he was in prison, his locks, I'm not going to say dreadlocks, because I don't like that word, his locks, which he had grown for decades, was cut and stripped of him. And this is a part of his identity. His son flew in from US to fight for his release. They met on several times for the lawyer. and through court he was in prison for about 2.5 weeks. However, he was released on the 5th of November, where he had to fine a heavy fine and not return back to prison. That's all I have at the present moment.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to also just give some insight as well in terms of what it was like for the ASE Collective to get information from the ground about the arrest of the brother. And just, you know, the importance of us making sure that our information was correct, that we wasn't using the situation as a way of, I guess, propaganda. We didn't use it for propagandizing. We didn't use it to bring attention to us or gain anything. It was, we wanted to make sure that the people were informed properly of the facts of the matter. And shout out to Brother Ras Oshin. He's not here, but he definitely deserves his shout out because he was there very close with the eye. You know, long before the arrest, they'd been there in Gambia for a long time together, and he was able to ensure that we had good information flowing to the collective, and that when we was making our reports on our social media sites and in our interviews and things like that that we do regularly, we were able to give people precise and exact information from the ground. So that way it made it very difficult for people to take it and propagandize it because we had the actual facts before the people's face. So this one shout out to the ASE Collective as well. For those who don't know, we are positioned across the continent and even in the UK and United States. So we are an international body, or international collective. And so when we get emergency calls like this, we're designed to be able to iron it out among ourselves, come out with official statements of support, seek to gain contact directly with those who are being impacted by the emergency, and also alert those people in the world who belong to the African diaspora community, and also are very interested in Pan-Africanism in particular. So we understand that we have to build our own capacity. Yes, these African countries have a responsibility to secure every life, but we also have a responsibility ourselves to make sure that we operate in a certain way that keeps us in the best way of security. So absolutely. I want to contribute that. Nana Bina, how are you?
Yes, greetings. We do have two other ASE Collective members, Nana Bina and Sister Phoenix Wright, also officially joined us as well.
Yeah. And real quick before we go on, I want to also salute Brother Pa Bojang, listening from the Gambia. Hey, you can also chime in when it's time, brother. We would love to hear your voice and get some feedback from everybody here today. The feedback is really, really what allows us to have confidence in doing what we do, because it's very important that we don't just operate as a random group of people, but that we create time on a regular basis to check in with our people, give people an opportunity to check in with us, and we share our ideals. That's the only way we're really going to be able to look out for each other on the continent. Nana Bina, how are you?
Greetings, family. Yeah, apologies for coming in late. Had some logging in issues. I'm pushing forward, not 100%, dealing with some health issues.
Yeah.
But I did not want to let this opportunity pass without coming in and contributing. So,
Thank you.
yeah, again.
Well, we're going to get a report from you on the ground in a few minutes here. I just want to wrap up with the Gambia. Also, the legal and diplomatic and community advocacy updates. From my understanding, things have been kind of quiet out of respect for Ras Dawda, who was deeply emotionally and spiritually impacted by this experience. I don't think that, I mean, for us, it was like, oh my God, you know, we got to help this brother, but he went through that torture. He went through that torment. and he's a 70-plus-year-old man with over 40 years on the continent, who owned his land for decades. And we know that he was arrested, but there is allegedly a conspiracy against him for his land. It's not just a random arrest. He's not just a marijuana smoker, right? They actually targeted him because they wanted to get him out the way to reclaim his land.
Yeah.
And we, as the diaspora, have to understand that this is something that we all could possibly face at some point in some form, once we become repatriated and we begin to claim the actual lands of our ancestry that we buy, that we purchase. That it's still not over. There still can be someone locally of some higher power that will one day come back and try to challenge you. And so we have to look out for that. And that's all alleged, because we don't know the actual facts of the matter. It's just there's been allegations, serious allegations, that this arrest of Ras Dawda, it was personal. It wasn't criminal. It was more personal than anything. And that the people who actually sicked the police on him were after his land. And I mean, you just got to imagine if we can't even have conversations about this as the diaspora. And so we definitely want to have this conversation with you guys. So when we have our open discussion, please take down any notes, hold your comments until we get there. But as we go through these three conversations, just remember what you want to say. For an open community dialogue, you have the mic. Everybody have opportunity to, say what they got to say, get it off their chest, and contribute to the dialogue. So legally, I'm not sure, but I believe the case was completely dropped. Am I right, Mama Jalika? There's nothing else with the case, right?
Definitely right. It's now completely done.
Okay.
All we are now trying to obtain is, does he need to have any assistance in terms of the land situation?
Yeah.
That's one. Two, does he need any assistance in terms mentally of the trauma that he went through?
Yeah.
But because it's such a sensitive issue, we haven't been able to get very near to him to try and find out these things. But everything is a time.
Yeah, I can imagine. The humiliation of the treatment would make you shy off. I can imagine. It's embarrassing. We warriors. The Rasta man is a warrior. You cut his name. And so my heart goes out to that brother, man. For what he endured. And I hope that we never have to deal with something like that again.
I was there on the day when he was released. I was in court, and to see such a man with so much pride, but that was taken from him. And all the time he was in court, being an elder, nobody said to him, do you want to sit down? He stood there with his limited strength, determined that they wasn't going to get the better of him. Yeah, but in terms of the ancestors and the Creator, I'm just pleased that they let everything drop with a heavy fine, but just to let everything drop.
Yeah, man. That's cool. And so I know that now is a time to really advocate in the community around these kind of issues, these land struggle issues. Even the issue of marijuana still being criminalized across the continent. And where it starts, the whole colonial legal system that still permeates the continent, when the reality is that the West has even found the usage of the sacred herb. There's people who are Rastafari, and the herb is sacred to them. It's not just smoking to get high, right? It's a sacrament. And so now, even here in Sierra Leone, recently there was a case with a brother named Mo Rasta, where a similar thing happened. There's a land dispute, there was a land dispute and with a lawyer, allegedly. I always say allegedly because, you know, I don't want to get nobody to say I'm slandering them, right? But allegedly, the lawyer had been having a long dispute with his brother, and he put this brother's name on a list of places that should be raided by the police. And the police are raiding for this drug they call Kush. This very nasty drug is mixed up with all kind of stuff. And it got Sierra Leoneans looking crazy. I mean, if you see how bad the youth are looking because of this drug abuse. And it's nothing like marijuana, far away from any kind of holy sacrament.
Completely different.
Completely different. But what they're doing is they're enforcing them both equally. And so now the Rastafarians are now being targeted and put on drug lists as if they're engaged in the heavy narcotic drug thing. And so they're raiding people who actually have who are Rastaman, who might have followings around them, you know. And so it's happened here as well. We had to go rescue a brother. They held him 22 days. We had to go rescue a brother here in November. And so it seems like it's a pattern that we have to be aware of, because a lot of us coming back from the diaspora, we like the puff puff. We like the puff puff ourselves, you know. It's a part of our tradition as well, part of our way of living too. And so when you get back here, you just got to be aware that if you're going to touch that stuff, they can use it. They can use it as a way to arrest you. They can use it as a way to give you a very bad case of, we don't want this guy in our country. And so be very, very careful with anything that's illegal, especially if it pertains to drugs on the continent. Some people, right now they say Dirty December, but nobody's telling people that, hey, law enforcement all across West Africa is cracking down on marijuana and other drugs right now. You might want to be safe for your Dirty December. You might want to be clean for your December this time, right? And so just to give the diaspora that warning, let them know, like, this is how it's being enforced, and you don't want to get caught up in anything like that at all. You see how they can abuse even an elder, a 71-year-old man. So imagine what they can do to any of us. And really it's justifiable. Why is it? Because they have laws. And we have to obey the laws. We have to. You get caught, you gotta pay the price. You can't expect a special treatment, right? And so it has its own thing. In 1870 is when the first marijuana hemp plant law was passed against the Indian indentured workers of South Africa. That's in the world. 1870 is the first time that marijuana was ever considered an illegal thing. And we never think about it. So even here in Sierra Leone, the Rastafari Council was leading a campaign for the decriminalization of marijuana in this country. In the midst of that, they're also cracking down on the Rastafarian community as if they're into the other hard drug, and it's nothing like that. In fact, the Rastas are the ones who's campaigning against the hard drug, and so it's just nasty. If you can avoid, be very, very safe. If you're a smoker, you like to puff, be very, very safe. Keep that to yourself. Stay in a corner, and do not trust anything in the public as it relates to that in West Africa, especially not in the dominant Muslim countries like Gambia. They won't play with you about herb. You know, they won't play with you about it. So at the same time, while we're outraged about how they treated our elder, we also want to give people a warning that we probably shouldn't have to give them. Be very safe. Very safe. Very safe. Yeah, hold on. Hold on, y'all. All right, got unmuted. All right, so moving right ahead, I just think it's important for us to also know that that's a struggle here in Africa. A lot of people are struggling with drug abuse, especially recently. Over the last maybe decade or two, it's become more of a problem throughout Africa. Young people predominantly getting caught up on drug abuse. It's just a side effect of the imperialism. It's a side effect of the neo-colonialism, of the separation, that now even these nasty drugs that usually are limited to the West, oh man, they're proliferating the African continent right now. And we have to be very, very careful. And even with our children and young people that we're bringing back, we have to be very, very careful that they understand that this ain't that. That if you smoke the wrong thing on the continent, you could be gone. You could be gone. You can lose your wits and be gone. This ain't that. It's not the same thing. There's places in the United States where you can legally smoke marijuana anywhere, right? In Europe as well. But you just got to change your mind state when you're coming back to Africa and be careful with yourself. Because some people, just imagine if I'm a police officer and I want to target foreigners for arrest, and then I want to shake them down for a couple $1,000s, right? Yeah, exactly. Sister Phoenix is saying that tramadol is a new problem. It actually isn't. Tramadol, during Ebola in 2014, 2015, tramadol became a real big issue here in Sierra Leone because people started self-treating. They wanted to avoid the hospitals because they didn't want to get body snatched. They didn't want to have a fever and get took to an Ebola center. And so everybody was self-medicating. And at that time, it was like the floodgates of tramadol opened. And tramadol was all over the streets. And if you know about tramadol, it's a prescription drug. And you're supposed to take it in very small dosages. But man, people here would take a whole pack at one time, boom, and just drink it with alcohol. You say, what are you doing? And so that abuse came in, that pill popping abuse came in during that Ebola. So it was something that happened that made people rely on tramadol more than what they was before what happened here in Sierra Leone. And then later on, the Kush came, what they call Kush, what's it called? K3, K2, and this other mixture that they use, synthetic marijuana, is causing a real bad problem, especially here in Sierra Leone. So, yeah, man, just be careful with the drugs. Stay away from people that are too open and too aggressive with trying to get you to criminalize yourself on the continent, because there's people who's waiting for you to slip up and tax you $1,000 before they release you. You know, they're ready to chop your hair off. They're ready. And I think that this case has let us know that we can't lower our guard and feel like we can just have that level of respect. Chopping people's hair off is very, very serious. You understand? And, very, very serious.
They found it in his pocket. Like, they searched him and found like a joint, I believe, like in his pocket. So it wasn't like he was selling marijuana and they found a big stash. It wasn't even like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So last but not least, I think we're still calling for the community to remain vigilant and on call to support our brother Ras Dawda and his family in whatever way that we can. I see someone here is talking about the Kush. The Kush is similar. Phoenix, they don't use the human skull. What they do is they extract the abominal fluid from the body, and they use the abominal fluid in the drug. So that's because it's hard to get abominal fluid. They crush the bones and separate the fluid from the bones. You know, that fluid that they put into your body, it never goes away. It just soaks into your bones. So they dig up people's body and drain the bones of the abominal fluid and use it in the drug creation. That's what that is. It's not the actual skull. It's extracting the abominal fluid from the bone, from the body. And so, yeah, man, it's just let us stay vigilant about this call to resist and fight back this drug scourge that's hitting us up in Africa. It's something very, very big that we have to watch ourselves about. Okay, Malang. Okay, immigration officer. Hey, how you doing, brother Malang?
Yeah, greetings.
Yeah, man. So, you know, that's what I'll say. And I want to turn it over to our sister Nana Abina Grace James, because she was directly impacted by the civil unrest in Tanzania, and we were on call for that as well. Sister called. She said, "Hey, it's going down." We was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna tell everybody, and hey, anything we can do." But let me tell you, a survivor is a survivor. Yes. And this sister got them Jamaican roots. She got them maroon roots. So she don't pack light. She makes sure that if a storm come, she gonna survive them. Anything come her way, this mommy here, she gonna survive them, and she prove them. At the same time, she had enough water, she had enough food. She was ready. She said, "Hey, if any case of emergency, you don't hear from me, call my husband." I had his number. We was ready to go. Right. Fortunately, I mean, we didn't have to make any bad calls. Right. The sister was able to survive and make it through. But I would definitely like to give you the mic because other people didn't fare so well because they weren't as prepared. And I'd like for you to just give us your own take on the unrest in Tanzania. Thank you.
Okay, greetings, everyone. Because this is via Zoom and because there are several people online, there are some things I won't say. So I just want to make my declaration first, because many of the channels are still being monitored. And even as a warrior, you've got to know when to step up and you got to know when to step back. So that being said, well, Tanzania is a very big country. And we have several large cities. And so not everything, not all of the cities were going through any chaos. We have some smaller cities that people were fine, mostly stayed inside, but were still able to go to the market, go to the grocery store. The major cities, though, which is Dar es Salaam and Arusha, there were parts of those cities that there were unrest. There was a pattern of, I would say, for want of a softer word, destruction of property, but that did happen in a few sections of the city. But I'll just go from the beginning, just real quick. So normally, because I've been in Tanzania during election time, I've been in Kenya, I've been in Ethiopia during election time, and there's some things that are common, and especially being from Jamaica. It's not like in the US where you just openly discuss political parties and leaders and incumbents. You don't have that discussion in the public space. I remember even being a teenager in Jamaica, there are certain colors that you don't wear. Even as a teen, not yet able to vote, but there's certain areas in town, in the city, in Kingston, and in Spanish Town that you just don't go, especially leading up to elections. So that's something I was used to. So coming to Africa and being here around election time, it wasn't strange for me. I found that mostly people from the US and a little bit UK, but it was strange for them just how things were going on. You were told stay in, don't say too much, just nod and smile. They weren't used to that, and it was really disturbing for them. So leading up to the elections, we didn't think that anything like what happened would have, because most of Tanzanians' elections are just smooth and follow the process. So this time, election day, I did hear some people, local people, say that, oh, not going to go. I'm just going to stay in. So you still have that across many African countries where especially young people and women don't think they have a voice, don't think if they go and vote, it matters, that it'll count. And this is something that colleagues of mine dealt with in Malawi, in Mozambique, same thing. So in the SADC countries, it's across the board. There's been campaigns to let women and youth know that step up, say something respectfully and honestly, but participate because your vote counts. So I did hear that, and I thought they really should. But anyways, for most of the day, people who chose to vote, went and voted. And then in the evening, that's when a couple of disturbances started. So you would hear things in several neighborhoods. People would hear noise on the street. A couple of times you think, oh, is it firecrackers or something else that was happening, you know? And so that started happening the night of the election. And then the next day was when a lot of disruption started happening. So even in Dar es Salaam, it wasn't everywhere. It was in some areas where the roads were being blocked, businesses vandalized or destroyed. It was not as widespread as I'm hearing it was depicted outside. In Arusha, it was the same thing, specific areas. And so that happened Wednesday, Thursday, and that's when the internet connectivity stopped. So we were still able to communicate locally with SMS and phone calls, local, like cell to cell. But in terms of network, the network was shut down. And so we weren't able to communicate, you know, outside of within the country. So a lot of people were just checking in with everybody else. Are you okay? You know, different parts of the city, different parts of the country. And there were 3 major, large enough cities, but hours away from Dar, that people were safe. People actually came out, you know, gone to the store, but they still were not online. And I definitely understand why the internet was taken down. You know, because you do have people that sensationalize things instead of just sticking to the truth, sticking to exactly what happened. Because some of I haven't seen anything. I've already told people, do not send me any videos. Because one of the things that was also happening is if you did pass any traffic stops, your phone people have had their phone taken and social media checked to see if you're receiving and passing on certain information, especially ones that are not positive or truthful or realistic for the country. So I didn't see none of that stuff I've seen, but in conversations, people have said, oh, I've seen this video that says this, you know? And so I definitely know that half of what I would probably say has been going out there has been exaggerated. But nonetheless, many people were in areas where they felt threatened, could not come out of their homes. You know, you had, whether it's helicopter overhead, you had forces on the ground. And so many of us in the areas that we live, we had to stay put. The thing is, most people were like planning for about 2 days because this is Tanzania, you know. But it went on for longer. I think we were offline for about, or not just offline, but having to stay inside for about 5 to 6 days. And, you know, we were grateful that around that time, a lot of people who were only planning for 2 days, some areas they were able to get somebody to bring them stuff. Those who were able to go out and get things, prices of like a tomato tripled. So that was the other thing that, you know, people on the ground were also taking advantage of the situation, you know. Some shops by the 4th day didn't have a lot of supplies. So even if you did get a chance to go to the shop, there's a lot of things that were missing. So for myself, after I realized that, hold on a second, this is not just day 1 or day 2. This looks like it's gonna go on. So that's when I reached out, not knowing how long we would have electricity for, you know, knowing that internet's down. Luckily, our phones, we can buy international minutes. So I purchased international minutes and was able to make some phone calls to just send out the SOS to say, listen, this is happening. We're inside. We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know if it's going to get better or worse. So just in case, this is a situation. And like Chief Ode said, I was able to give him phone numbers of people that he can reach out to should in case anything is needed that they could do, whether remotely or, you know, I don't know. So it was very, even for someone who have been in situations similar in other countries, it was still unnerving because 1, it wasn't expected. And 2, we didn't have a chance to plan for this. So, you know, it's not like we heard, oh, a storm is coming. It'll be here in 2 days. So then you get all your supplies. That wasn't the case. We were just thinking 1 or 2 day, and then everything would be back to normal. So this really hit a lot of people hard. And it was scary in some areas. You know, one area in Arusha I went by recently, like a police station was totally gutted, burnt to the ground. So, you know, I can just imagine the homes nearby when they saw that happening, how scary it must have been. So some people, again, some people were in areas where things got really bad. After the internet was back up and the word went out that things have calmed and the forces are on the ground to maintain order, peace, and people started venturing out. We did see even, again, some roadblocks that happened for a few days. In certain areas of the city, you could see, you know, again, damage to certain businesses. But it was not the entire country. It wasn't the entire cities, but it did happen. And from what we've heard, I haven't been able to validate, but people have lost their lives. And that is something that, based on what the president said, she did say condolences go out to those who may have lost family members. So that means that there were some genuine loss of lives. And so last week, we were told that Independence Day celebration would not happen as it normally does. Everybody was told to stay indoors. The military was out on the streets. Helicopters were flying over. A lot of things went in place to keep peace and order. And we were, as far as even the repass community, several families after what happened after the election, several families left the country for good. Some left the country for a short time, just in case the same thing happened again. So it did impact families significantly, you know. But give thanks, the Independence Day came and went, and by the next day, things were still calm. It took about 2 days for public transportation to really get back on the roads and businesses to comfortably open back up. But at least we did not lose internet this time, nor electricity, you know, so things went just that day of rest and Thanksgiving for life and everything that we're blessed with. And now things are back to normal. So, in a nutshell, this just proved to me that we do need that emergency plan. We do need a system in place where if any one of us in any country is going through anything, that we can minimum get the word out as to how we're doing, right? And anything after that, if it's just like specific to a city, maybe somebody else in another city could be alerted and they could come to us, you know? So we have to have that plan for national situations, for personal situations and community situations, because one of the biggest disadvantage that we have when we repatriate to African countries, most of us don't know the languages and we can't communicate. I don't want to take too much longer, but I do want to just share something that happened just last night. Everything is calm, everybody's fine, back to normal, we're all good. I have a bell at my gate and somebody rang the bell. Now it's nighttime, around 8. I don't expect anyone. I checked my phone. Did anyone call to say they're coming by? No phone calls, no message. So I have a camera at the gate. I went on the camera and I saw it was a young man. Did not recognize him. There is a mic. So I pressed the mic and I said, "Who is it?" No answer. "Can I help you?" No answer. He tried to cover up the camera. And then he was talking to somebody, so he wasn't there by himself. So the thing with there's a default on the bell. It keeps ringing. You have to press it a second time to turn it off. So it's this loud ring in the house. And after about half an hour, like they were out there for about, I would say maybe like 15 minutes. And then I started to get worried. And so I'm like, okay, who can I call? I call somebody that lives, another repat that lives close enough. No answer. Call one other person, no answer. So then I call someone that's about, I would say, like less than 5 minutes drive away. And I told him the situation and asked if he could come. And he said yes. So he got on a vehicle and by the time I got him on the phone, though, they had left. But I couldn't see the street, so I don't know if they were still there. So I told him, "Can you please come?" So he came by. When he came, nobody was there. So I was able to step out the gate and turn off the buzzer. And he says, "You're good?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm good." And I just locked up and came back inside. And so I was thinking of ASE Collective the whole time because, you know, I'm saying like we need to have systems in place because I pay monthly for security. And I'm told that the security cased the entire area, our block, right? But they speak Swahili. I could not have called them and tell them, explain to them, some boys are at my gate. I don't know who they are. Can you come? The most I could say in Swahili to them is, come to house number blank, you know? And so I'm just saying that we're not trying to be separate, but we still need to have something that we are managing, coordinating, that then connect with the larger community and government services. And I'll pause there. You're on mute, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that update. I just want to say also that that's a very, very important thing you're talking about in terms of what do we do as repatriates during periods of uprise, of political crisis in our host countries. As members of the diaspora who typically don't have any dog in the fight, right? What do we do? And I want to have Sister Phoenix Rain chime in here because she was in a very similar situation not too long ago with Benin. And it was similar. I believe they went to the U.S. Embassy. Embassy said, you're on your own, you know? But I have Sister Phoenix break it down for herself. So the sister is talking about how she experienced Tanzania with the recent political crisis behind the elections. And then you right there in Benin, where we just seen this attempted coup situation. And can you just touch briefly on how important it is for us to be organized and operating in the way to safeguard our people's interests, regardless of what country we're in?
It is. I was over here nodding my head and saying yes. It's vitally important to be connected, to really put it on a basic level, to have each other's back. I've found myself sort of unexpectedly being the point of contact for the few people that are here. There's very, very few of us here in this country right now. And because of really being like the first one, I don't want to sound like arrogant and saying I'm the first one. Clearly other Americans have been here and there are some here, but as it pertains to those of us who really are like repatriates, moving here to the continent, being here for real, as it pertains to Benin, this is the brand new kid on the block, so to speak. And so I found myself kind of being the first one here. And so as a result, the few people that come here will inadvertently all contact me in the midst of the attempted coup going on. I ended up being the point of contact for all of the people that are here, which happen to be all ladies. And I am one of only two of us who were registered through the embassy's STEP program. That's their notification program for that country. I need to say this. It may be a little bit of an unpopular point of view, but I need to say this, that we can't completely reject all of the systems as of yet because there's not enough things put in place to fully replace it. And so while we really want to say we're done with Babylon, we kind of can't. And I was able to keep us connected and have direct communique from the U.S. Embassy, which also was very telling. I did attend the town hall meeting that happened at the U.S. Embassy about a week prior to the coup, where the main concern addressed were security issues. At the same time, they also made a point of having a table full of absentee ballots and highly encouraging us to vote because they had been sort of slaughtered in the round of cuts by the administration, et cetera, right? But I suggested to the other sister that attended with me, listen very closely, because what they said at the town hall meeting, and then that was followed up in the communique, was that their job at the U.S. Embassy is to support the goals of the U.S. government. Their job at the U.S. Embassy is to support the goals of the U.S. government, not the citizens, not you because you got a passport, none of that. One of the ladies said, what happens if we just show up at the embassy? Are they not going to help us? No, they're not going to help you because the official communique said to shelter in place. Okay, they said there's been report of violence at the presidential compound and the government offices, that there's been gunfire and report of explosions, that everyone should shelter in place, and that should there be the need for evacuation, that you should have your own plan and not rely on the U.S. government. They're not coming to help you. You should know that. They're not coming to help you, right? I don't want to go too deep because, you know, we can have a whole bunch of conversations about American citizenship. But I'm just going to tell you with my whole Kanye voice, America don't care about you. Right? So we need to have our own network, our own safety protocol, our own sources of funding. We have to put some things into the storehouse because when emergencies happen, emergencies happen. We can't start fundraising to get somebody out when the stuff is going down.
Right.
Exactly.
They need the help right then. We can't start the initiative right then. We have right. We have to operate on the premise that stuff is going to happen because we know the history, we've seen, right? And so we have to have, having my own experience in government, there is a word that is often floated around during putting policy and protocols in place, and that word is preparedness. Emergency preparedness. We have to have our own preparedness plans, and it can't be based on whether we like each other or don't like each other, what country we in or not in. I need to know what's going on in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone needs to know what's going on in Benin. When the conflict was going on here in Cotonou, I was contacting Brother Fode.
Absolutely. That's right.
You understand? Because I need somebody to know what's going on, and I need the collective eyes to be watching. I need somebody to know that if the phone lines go down and Sister Phoenix ain't communicating, that maybe somebody need to be checking.
Yeah.
Right? We also need to have some people in understanding our different roles. I don't mean no harm, but everybody ain't built for the revolution, no matter how much we talk about it. Right? There are some of us who are equipped mentally and spiritually to run the rescue missions, and some people who need to be circulating the messages because they're not really boots on the ground. That don't mean that they bad. It don't mean that they're not necessary. It's all necessary. So let us just know. We can go back to being mad next week.
Yeah, man.
After all the stuff, right? We can get back to digging into issues after. But when things are going down, we need to close ranks. We need to close ranks, right? If a sister is in need in Tanzania, and we had some beef, I could go back to beefing after she's safe. I need to know she's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Operational unity. We call that operational unity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to
Regardless of our
expect,
difference.
yes, we need to expect that there is going to be more unrest, specifically in West Africa. West Africa is got a lot of dynamics going on right now. People are talking about sort of the coup syndrome. There are some people who are very in favor of military leadership and some who are not.
Right.
And those who are holding space for democracy, we have to know that that's a very fragile thing right now, even in the places like Benin, where democracy has, for the most part, been stable. Benin has a pretty stable democratic history, at least for the last 30 years. Yet, if I can be very, very condensed, we know the history of what happened with the transatlantic slave trade. And why Benin was a factor. And it was because of its proximity and access to its ports from landlocked countries. That is still very much, even though they're saying all kind of other stuff. You got the West, you got the Sahel, you got everybody battling for Benin. And as somebody here on the ground, I'm here to tell you that in large part, it is because of access to the port.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't get nothing, not people and not equipment and not resources and not materials out of Central Africa without getting to the coast.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So there you go.
Nana Bina?
Yes, I just wanted to ask Sister Phoenix, so how are things now in terms of like just day-to-day liberty? I mean, are people, you're able to go to the store, to the market, hospital?
Yeah, so pretty much it is, I'm usually loosely using the terms, and I was nodding my head when you were saying, we're on a certain forum right now, so there's some things I'll say and some things I won't say.
Yeah.
For the most part, the correct narrative is to say that we are back to normal. And on the ground, mostly we are. But if you've had any military background prior, or you have certainly lived through some of these situations here on the continent, what you know is that the truth is there is heightened security.
Yeah.
The elections, this just happened. So the surprising thing, as also was similar, the surprising thing about this is that it kind of happened a bit sooner than they expected. The elections are not until April. So if this has happened now, and the elections are not until April, we should expect, even though things are kind of looking like they're calm, we're able to go to the market, all of that. We're also monitoring things. We're staying a little bit closer to home. Everybody's paying good attention.
I think Sierra Leone has sent the ECOWAS standby force there.
Yes.
Because the president of Sierra Leone is currently the chairman for ECOWAS. And so we get the local news. We kind of watch even as they're mobilizing and organizing themselves before they go out. And it's interesting how the West is using different militaries from different countries in this way, because this is what they did during slavery. They'll bring a mercenary group from Senegal down to raid Sierra Leone. And
there's no new stories here, Chief.
Down to raid Ghana. And we don't understand that they was using us militarily against ourselves. We think we was just just selling each other, and we don't understand the military assault. So,
Yeah.
you know, I appreciate that. I appreciate both perspectives from Tanzania and then from Benin. Got to remember too, they just had a coup in Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau.
I want to talk about this coups real quick because every coup you see is not the AES.
Yes.
The coup in Guinea, for the most part,
already.
the coup in Guinea is one where it was rumored to have come about to prevent the opposition from coming to power.
Mm-hmm.
The opposition was right close to coming to power, and then all of a sudden there was a coup, and some of the president's bodyguards ended up in power, and that coup never joined the AES coup. All it served to do was block the Guinea coast from access. And so you see in Guinea-Bissau as well, from my understanding, the president himself, seeing that he probably wasn't going to win the election, and then his own boys cooled him. And this is what they're saying. In the case of Benin, I've heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Benin, like you said, has been stable. Benin has recently gone digital. So all of that corruption and scamming, very difficult when it's digital. And so people are in an uproar. They feel like you know, their revenues is being cut because the corruption is being reduced, right? And the same thing happened here in Sierra Leone. We had a coup attempt here, and when you say go back to normal, it never goes back to normal.
Right.
You know, they make it seem like it's back to normal, but
Right.
once that stuff start happening, you got to start watching your back. And so we've been
Right.
here through Ebola, COVID, rebellions, coup attempts.
Yeah.
And the first thing they do here is they cut off internet.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't communicate.
And the last time that coup Tim he's talking about is November 2023. Our phones, everything was cut.
Nobody can
Yeah.
Communication. So, Sister Phoenix, did you experience the same thing? Was the communication, internet, and phone lines cut off, or did
Well,
you?
what was interesting, we were actually pretty surprised because the insurgents were successful at commandeering the major television and radio station, but surprisingly, the internet did not go down. And that kind of was our initial like good thing because we could stay in communication. I had already connected with the sprinkling of ladies that were here via WhatsApp. And then I remembered in a moment that thing happens, that stuff gets cut down, shut down. And so I had them all send me, I was like, hey, do you have a local number? Do you have a local number? But I started asking my husband, like, if the internet goes down, does that mean that the network will go down, like the local network? Maybe, maybe not. You don't know. Sometimes it could, sometimes not. But just as a safeguard, I had all of those that had gotten local phones to send me their local number just in case the internet went down and we didn't have ability to communicate WhatsApp. I also kind of tried to mimic some of the protocol of the embassy. Hey, what area of the city are you in? Where are you located? Tell me your physical location. You know, I have to say this, a lot of us, for all of the things that we've gone through, been through, and rightfully so, in America, we come sometimes more suspicious than we need to be for our own good. And we put ourselves in danger by being unwise, right?
Yeah.
We may be doing our best to come home, but we ain't yet home. We got to learn how to be home, and the home got to accept us. Until then, you are a stranger. You need to check in with somebody. Somebody needs to know where you are, besides your mama in America who can't do nothing to help you.
Right.
That's
Right?
That's right.
And especially if you're a solo traveling woman. Please check in. and say,
Yeah.
hey, even if you're not trying to hang out and, do no YouTube videos and all of that stuff, call somebody and say, hey, I'm in the
I'm here.
country. I'm
That's
here. Here's where I'm staying. Here's my number or WhatsApp and how to reach me.
just in case. That's right.
Just in case, right? For all of the things, people know certain things about me. I'm very routine with certain things, right? There's certain people, if they reach out to me, if I'm unavailable and I'm not able, I will respond by text and say, hey, not busy. Hey, not available. Hit you back shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That,
Yes.
in fact, saved me in a situation because I was in a situation where I had been taken, not here on the continent, this was before in America, right? In an unlawful arrest. And a business partner who I speak to regularly called me, didn't get no response, called me, didn't get no response, texted me, didn't get no response, and knew my pattern and started going through Facebook folks till she found my people and said, hey, have you talked to Phoenix? Because something is wrong. This chick
Yeah.
was in California and I was in Atlanta, Georgia. And she was
right.
the one who realized that
Something wrong.
something was wrong and started the reaction for people to start looking for me.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
So it didn't matter. There was nobody really here yet in Benin besides myself in a position to really do anything. But I needed someone who I felt like was in a position of leadership and had enough voice to coordinate should there be a problem. So as soon as I knew that, hey, it's some stuff going down here, I was notifying Chief Fode, there's something going on. I'll stay tapped in with you and give you updates and let you know what's going on. If you don't
Right.
hear from me,
Yes.
Move.
Yes.
right. And that's what we got to do. That's what we have to do. I have to know if something's going on in the Gambia and it's a problem, just because I'm not there don't mean it's not my problem. I'm part of the collective. It's all
right.
our problem.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to chime in to say, as you're talking about that, it's something that I go through a lot with people who are repatriating to Tanzania. As they may have introduced me, but I'm the chairperson for an NGO that was started in Tanzania, going on 4 years now. We help people who want to move to Tanzania, and then when they get here on the ground, to help them to settle in, and then contribute to the country. So it's something that I go across all the time. I ask some people it's a membership organization. And I'm saying to people, you're coming. We've been already helping you. You've called, you've asked for help, you asked for where's the supermarket, where's the this. Become a member of the organization. And I'll tell you, some people, the majority they don't want to. And I would say about 10% of those who do, on the application form, I don't ask for your passport number. I ask for your name, the name that's on your legal document, right? The country you're coming from. And pretty much, and then the other things is just like, do you have a career? What's your career? Are you coming to just retire or to be active? Those kinds of things. And I've had people put some other name on the form. And I'm saying, if there is any emergency,
Right.
I
Nobody
can't
can help
ask
you.
for Ras Jesus, because there's nobody, it's not on your form.
Yeah.
Like, brethren, there is a little thing on your passport. They know where you are.
Right.
They know you left America when you got
That
to whichever
part,
country.
sis,
It's
that
them.
part,
They know.
that part. We're
So
so
don't
bought
take
into the
time.
conspiracy theories and we need to stop it. Everybody has biometrics now. They even scan your face when you come into Africa. If you think you hiding from anybody, you are woefully mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it thwarts a lot of what we have to do, right? It murkies the water. We're here trying to be of service, right? Help us to help you. Help us to help each other.
Yeah.
There are people on the board that I don't see eye to eye with some of their philosophy or some of the way they do things, but they're still on the board. And I
Yes.
still depend on them and we can still work together. There's
Yeah,
other people, I'm not going to go to your house and sit down and drink a beer with you, but we got stuff to do.
Right.
When I
Yeah.
see you roll up your sleeve and you're doing something, I appreciate what you're doing. I don't have to be your friend,
Right.
Right.
but we have got to come together because for now, we are all we have.
yeah. Forever.
Yeah.
For now and forever.
For now and forever.
Yeah.
Really.
We have no friends. It's just us. The sooner we can deal with that, the sooner we can get free and stay that way.
That's right.
We don't have no friends and ain't nobody coming for us. So
Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna do it but you.
not from the rescue standpoint. Everybody's coming for us, but ain't nobody coming for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
To rescue
Even
or
our
support.
own.
Yeah.
So I wanna kind of shift the conversation now and hit up the Hurricane Melissa impact in Jamaica. Very, very situation. I know it's not necessarily an emergency situation for us on the continent, but an emergency situation for African people is an emergency situation for us on the continent, no matter what. Jamaica is Africa. Haiti is Africa. Black America is Africa. You know, all of those are Africa's extensions, its branches out into the world. And so if it happens in Jamaica, it happens like at the heart of the Caribbean. It happens at the center of some of our world. You understand? Like that's the mama land for many of us. We have connections there. So if the people in Jamaica are suffering, we're suffering. Recently, they had a One Nation reggae festival here in Sierra Leone, first of its kind. Before they had other Rasta men come through. Joe Hills came here in the 90s. Other people have come here. But this was different in the level of artists that they brought. Sizzla Kalonji, Queen Ifrica, Dan U. Bless from Trinidad, Brother Lucian, John Thunder, Christopher Martin. You know, they had a Caribbean pack artists, but they also had the Queen Mother Jackie from the Scotts Hall Maroons. They also had Mama G from the Trelawney Maroons.
Mm-hmm.
They also had members of Sizzla's team and entourage who was strong Rasta people, and we were able to host them. I'm a part of the Rastafari Council here in Freetown, and so they weren't able to host these artists without involving the Rastas. And when they reached out to the Rastas were like, "Man, we need you to come to the meeting." So I ended up thrust in the middle of it, not knowing exactly what it was. And the government honestly didn't do us too good. They didn't give us no resources. We gave them a plan of action. We bust our butt to try to meet them. But they never gave us any resources. But they did give us information, let us know where we could be at, how we could be around the guests.
Right.
And, you know, the ancestors do their own thing.
Yes.
The ancestors made it where we would just naturally cross paths and made it where we would connect with the who's during the trip. And now those relationships are sustainable now. But one of the things that was spoke about throughout was Hurricane Melissa. It was talked about the people in Sierra Leone was pouring out their hearts of, you know, sorrow and what can we do to help? So Brother Sizzla Kalonji got some land here when he came. The government's giving him land. And certain relationships are open now.
Yeah.
And I realized that one of the things that the brother did while he was here was that we was waiting for his farewell. We was waiting at the seacoast to send him off. And somebody called, they was like, "Man, where is he at? Where is he at?" He stopped to buy a bunch of solar for Judgment Yard. And so it made me think, wow, is solar cheaper in Africa?
Right.
You know, is solar cheaper right now in West Africa than it is in America? Could that be a market that we could we supply solar to Jamaica? Could we supply solar to the Caribbeans so that when they do have these situations, they can rely on the sun and not on man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just thought about that just in terms of the emergency situation. Like, how should Africa respond when there's a crisis in Jamaica, when there's a crisis in New Orleans, you know, when there's a crisis anywhere in the Black world outside of where we are, how should Africa respond? And I wanted Sister Abina to kind of lead this discussion here because, of course, I know there's probably half of us are Jamaicans right now present, but Nana Abina in particular because you're very, very involved with Caribbean affairs. Although you're in Tanzania, you roll with the who's who's, and you will have an understanding of the efforts to actually bring some stability back to the island. Can you give us an insight on what the actual issues are? Like, are the people still facing a lack of electricity? Are the roads cleared? Are kids going to school? Like, what's the update?
Okay. Thank you for actually bringing this into ASE Collective. And it just shows kind of what my stance is, that, you know, it is just a small part of Africa. And so this hurricane, I don't even like to say the name. This hurricane came through with a vengeance. We've never, nowhere have ever experienced anything like what happened. This, you know, we're lucky that the island was not physically severed, you know?
Wow.
It was that bad. And even at the same time, because that hit on Tuesday and we had our elections on Wednesday. And so our internet was cut Thursday.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was so difficult because everybody was trying, especially the family in the US, were trying to connect with us here and then those who and Jamaica at the same time. And it was really rough. It was really rough.
Yeah.
So a lot of damage. Livestock was almost totally gone. The section of the country that got hit real bad, part of it is considered the breadbasket of the
Wow.
and so a lot of and I never even thought about this. This never happened in any hurricane we've had where it's wiped out tons of animals. So goats, cows, chickens, gone, like farms, crops, gone. And we're just talking about food because food is like the first thing, right?
Yes.
And so all of that gone. And then power, a lot of the power lines down, the internet lines down. So even though it's a tropical island, like solar energy was not as used widespread as now we're realizing that maybe it should, you know, because you have not even the use of generators, you know, as we've been used to our power outage, and in a couple of hours it'll come back and we just keep it moving, you know. So I think about a month ago, in talking to a couple of people after I got over what we were dealing with here, and now able to then turn to the island, establish some relationships on the ground with family and just other organizations and friends. And so one of the things that we were told from beginning that, listen, we need to find a way to for people to be able to communicate. So you're talking about the solar power, especially phone chargers and small appliance chargers is something that was so necessary. Generator, solar generator, because fuel was also right, an issue, right, to get fuel if you have the regular generators. So many things that we didn't think about, we're now having to figure out, can this be a solution? Yes, you had a lot of people, artists, businesses, organizations that immediately went on the ground, started providing food, especially because that's what was hit hard. Then you
Yeah.
had housing, because you had some people that were sheltering in churches and other places, that other places that weren't damaged. You had a ton of homes that lost their roof and walls, so people could not stay home. And enough shelters were not in place because this is not something that we ever thought about. So the ones that didn't would normally do was just not enough. So I got moving with a couple of people so I'll just tell you real quick. One of the things somebody had said to me was medical equipment and supplies.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we realized that not a lot, considering the damage, not a lot of people died directly from the hurricane. But what started happening was after about 3 weeks after, I noticed a lot of deaths were being reported. And interestingly enough, one of the common things was stroke from high blood pressure, which is, I started making a connection, but that's for another day. But I think minimum the stress that people were going through. So even those that were not in the area that was physically damaged, but stress related illnesses and death that was happening. And now recently, disease outbreak. So one of the things that I know that that I was talking to people about was um, like waterborne illness, right? Mosquito-borne illness. So those are two
Cholera.
major things. Yes. And so we ended up talking to a doctor from Kingston, but everybody was kind of mobilizing on that side. And he said, yeah, we need to get these in the country like ahead of stuff started happening. And so supplies started coming in, but a lot of people was mostly focused on food and housing. So you didn't have a lot of that. But now, what, over a month or something later, now you're having diseases that's outbreaks, both mosquito-borne. There was one that's caused, I think, by rats who, like they survived. And being that there's so much carcass and garbage, in the area, they're able to thrive. And so now that's another slew of disease. So we're looking at, there's still a lot of room for medical supplies, medicine. So whoever is connected to, any hospital or clinics or any medical supply units that they can send those things, that's still needed. Seeds to replant, organic seeds are needed. And food, which is still happening, still needed, even though you have people on the ground still supplying it because people have to eat every day. Water, drinking water, absolutely necessary. I set up like this alternative, I think, or not really alternative, but additional way of getting supplies there. Some things they can get on the island. So I would recommend you guys can, whoever is interested can get in touch with me after this meeting. And I'll share what do we call it? Like a project approach with names and contact information for people that I have vetted, that I know that you can trust. So there's people on the ground that you can actually send money to. You can even send money to shops there to purchase things and have someone there to pick them up. So let's say there's a company that sells, the solar generator. And if you have enough funds, people can do collection locally and send to that supplier and have, John be right there when the money's being sent. get a receipt, you show the shopkeeper, okay, I'm here to pick up these 3 generators, or, you know, these 10 tarps to cover 10 homes. So there's that way of doing things as well. Also, if getting things out of Miami is also another route. So I've had people suggest that they buy things. I don't want to promo anybody, but you know, the online stores or online places you can purchase things. Buy it. There's 2 people that I've asked to be recipients for the things that are bought online. They've already sent 2 shipments of barrels packed with miscellaneous stuff. And there is about 3 shipping companies in Florida that is you can that have reduced the shipping rate. One of them, if you ship with them, they'll give you the barrels for free, and you can just load the barrel and ship it off with stuff. So there are people on the ground that are ready to receive the things and distribute them. So that's another way that people could get things there. Now, getting stuff from Africa, it doesn't make sense because it costs too much for shipping. We have not worked out a way that we can ship things to the Caribbean for cheap. So if you're going to spend $300 on shipping, it's best you send the $300 to somebody, you know, or buy something in Miami and ship it there, or buy it in Kingston to send to the West End. So, so that's one of the things that I've been recommending. Now, we have not gone official as yet, but I'm going to drop a hint here. A group of people have come together and are planning a benefit concert that's going to happen. We initially was planning it for the end of February, but now it looks like it's around April. So we're going to get, for all of the countries on the continent that have some kind of history or connection with Jamaica, we will be working with artists, reggae artists in these countries, to be a part of a benefit concert to raise funds. Now, of course, the other countries are welcome to participate, but we wanted to do this specifically, especially you know, where Jamaicans have come back to Africa, the countries where we've come back to, and or have, you know, in the past have had some other relationship with the island. So just stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing it on ASE Collective Network and Basani and all of that as soon as we have the date and everything. But we're in the planning stage right now, reaching out. Next, I think by January, we'll be reaching out to the artists to get them to donate some of their time to this concert. And then we're going to be collecting funds via this, this method. This is a long-term situation. There's a couple more things I wanted to add. We also have contacted a company that sells, you know, like the trailers, but this one is like collapsible. So you get them on like, what do they call that? Like you can get them shipped in containers, right? And then they're just collapsed houses. So once you get them on the place where you're gonna set it up, you just put up the walls and just screw it together. And in no time, in one day, you could have a house. They come in 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom sizes, but you can actually put 2 1 bedroom or 2 2 bedroom together. They ship in a quantity of 8 per container. And you're looking at about, depends on the size, but anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 could get a family a house ready to go in one day. One of the other things that's also needed is public toilets. So in many areas, again, where a lot of buildings and homes are all blown down, public toilets are still needed. And this manufacturer does outfit some of these homes at like three the urinals, and then 3 actual toilet setting in one of the containers. So there's that. There's also a restaurant that also has a farm, and they've been doing farm to table situation for many years. They are also part of the fundraising team. So if you send seeds to them, they're replanting in their farm and also distributing it with other farmers in the area. So those are some of the stuff that's been going on that we've been doing. And this is long-term, trust me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate you so much for just the insight. And you know, you knocked it out the park because you hit every aspect of it that we have to consider. Not only the damage done, but also what's being done and what else we can do. That's the main thing. Me and King was just talking in dealing with this security. We got to have awareness capacity. You know, we have to be able to be aware of what's happening. Sometimes, if you don't know what is happening, there's no way you can organize a response to it, right? So awareness, preparation, and response. Those 3 capacities we need to really focus on across the African world in terms of how we respond to crisis. Thank you, though. I wanted to segue into a part of this conversation before we open up the mics and let people have their say. And you know, we're talking about the ASE Collective. For those who don't know, we operate a 3-team collective. One team is the International Coordinating and Diplomacy Team. We oversee exactly that, the international coordinating and diplomacy aspects. And then also we have the public relations team. Anything you see online, anything you see representing the organization is the product of the public relations team. And they do more than that as well. And then we also have the mental health advocacy team, which we call MHAT. Now, we don't have a representative here from that team today, but our brother, Baba FM, who is a member of that team, and also a seasoned psychiatrist, a brother who has taken on the mantle of continue the work of Nana Amos Wilson, and also has stepped up to be a part of this collective because mental health is a big part of being African on the continent, especially if you're coming from the diaspora. Just through the whole adjustment period, and also even after that, you know, just day-to-day psychological health, mental health is so important. So the brother, he left us a voice note. I'm gonna try to play it here. Y'all let me know if you can hear it on the other side. It's not too long. It's about 3 minutes. But let me know if y'all can hear this. Let me know if you can hear this, Mama Jalika.
Peace, family. This is Baba. I'm so sorry I couldn't be with you today on the call. This is Baba Farm with MHAT, Mental Health Advocacy Team. The call, some travels and some unexpected changes in my travels, so I'm kind of off track today. But I did want to just lend my voice, just leave a brief message of encouragement in regards to Brother Dawda and the Gambia, the unrest in Tanzania, and the ongoing recovering from the hurricane in Jamaica. And I'll just keep this really brief, but this is a really, really important psychological, emotional facet that sometimes we easily overlook, and that is practicing and developing the capacity to quiet your mind, meaning that of all the thoughts and plans that we make, the strategies we create for Black liberation, for helping each other out, for getting people out of situations, for like all the things that we busy our brains with, I must encourage you, brothers and sisters, because I encourage myself the same way, that taking time out to be still, to just simply breathe, to come down to a base of reality outside of what Urugu is doing, outside of what the government's doing, outside of all these different things that are swirling around us 24/7. It is absolutely crucial that you find your base, you find your root, and you still yourself and allow your mind to become still. In the realm of mental health and mental wellness, a big facet of mental unwellness is the inability to deal with reality. The overload of the brain to try to make sense out of this, that, and the other literally drives people insane sometimes. And it for sure makes people ill. So whatever practice you have, or if you don't have a practice, you can start to build one around sitting still and just breathing in your belly, or looking at the sky, looking at the ocean, listening to music, lighting incense, surrounding yourself with anything that calms you or roots you. Taking out that time to take deep belly breaths. Very important to breathe into the belly versus the chest, because the chest is the sympathetic nervous system. That's the fight, flight, or freeze breath. Breathe in the belly. That's the rooting breath. That's the earth breath. That's the breath that causes you to repair the body, to rest, to circulate your blood, to calm the nerves. So this is just my short offering. Again, my apologies for not being there, but I hope this message encourages or fortifies those of you who need to hear this. Peace.
All right. So that's from my brother Baba FM. We thank him for his contribution. Although he couldn't be here physically, he still put forth effort to make sure that he could say a thing or two to the people relating to mental health. And for those who may have had a hard time hearing what he was saying that we have to develop the practice of knowing how to be still sometimes, to not do anything, just take deep belly breaths and get grounded, reground ourselves. And, when we're going through these experiences we're talking about, you have to be able to stay grounded. You have to be able to keep your head on a swivel. You can't lose your mind in the midst of crisis. And so also after crisis, there's always healing. And so it is important to also have that advocacy component to ASE Collective. And we thank that brother for that. At this time, I want to allow for our audience to engage us now with questions and comments. And we have, we have about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to do so. The floor is open. Anyone who wants to say a word or two, you can unmute your mic, and the floor is yours. Anybody? Don't be shy.
Yes. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings, Brother Zeb.
Yes, I just wanted to maybe pick up on the first part of the talk regarding Ras Dawda and Gambia. Just some points I wanted to kind of raise, really. One of the things I was looking at with Gambia, anyway, I know over the years, and not only Gambia, Africa itself, Rasta has been one of the strongest sort of advocate for back to Africa for decades, and it's kind of harsh to see this kind of happening now. And like we know, it's not something which was it might be something where maybe Gambia or throughout Africa itself, these situations might arise. However, I know that they are aware that Rasta will come to Africa, and Rasta will be a part of using, say, herb in that respect. And at the same time, I know that even in Gambia, many Rastas has come from Jamaica and so forth, and participated in the homecoming and so forth, what they're having in Gambia. So it's kind of disheartening to see that, because I think it kind of made maybe other Rasta and other people who have seen the situation felt to canvass against the likes of Gambia. So it is something which I think was kind of hard on Gambia when something like this had taken place. Another point I'd like to make is in terms of him, they're cutting his locks. In terms of the legality behind things like this, I'm not saying that we should still continue to deal with something at this level, but I think it's future issues where how does this sit in terms of the law? Is it something where I can't see maybe sitting in legal sort of constitution that anybody who gets arrested who have locks, we have to cut it. I don't think it's something there. It's something which they did to humiliate him, I believe. So how does that sit in regards to the law? And it's things like this, I think, in some respects, we should maybe look at for future issues like this. And where do we as a collective maybe look at how the criminal justice system works and how we can challenge certain things, and who can we get, or how can we get representations at that level. So I think it's those things I was trying to sort of maybe throw out there to people to see how they feel about that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that, you know, justice is still needed in this case. And not necessarily for the brother, because once it becomes an issue where all of us are involved, it's kind of out. It's bigger than the individual involved. That's right. And so, you know, I agree. I agree 100% that we should at least research and see for ourselves in the ASE Collective, what are the channels that someone could take in the case that they've been violated in Gambia. Yeah. You know, what rights do we have there to lay our complaints? What grievance system can we go through? Yeah. That's very important for us to consult the human rights attorneys, to also consult the just lawyers, people in the country who are sympathetic to our cause, people who know that that it was wrong and that want to be an asset to us in acquiring justice in that case. Because right now, Ras Dawda, he may or may not be willing to just let it go. Right. But what does that mean for the rest of us? Right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Where there's no final resolution, there's no final position on what happens if that happens again. You know? That's right. And so, you know, it's unfortunate because the Gambia has been.
Can I just say that?
Sorry, Mama Tanika.
No, I was just going to say, sorry for cutting you. And in to one of the lawyers that we, as a ASE Collective, have been working with, he's chosen not to be here today. That's one. And I think answer to my brother, because we've worked for many years, we both come from justice side of things when we were in UK. We were social workers dealing with the justice element. I think this is one of the areas that ASE will be looking at in the future, mainly by myself and Zeb. We need to be looking at how to look at their laws and policies around things like this, because some of it, of course, comes from the colonial aspect in terms of UK. All of the laws come from UK. So in terms of that and knowing our policies from UK, this is where me and Zeb would like to go forward with this in the coming year. We need to look at that element as an urgency. We need to do that.
That's right.
Can I
agree.
Can I chime in here just a bit and thumbs up this, yes, but say again, I just want to drive in the point that this is exactly why the collective is important globally, because it's not just the Gambia. The same thing I heard Brother Fode, Chief Fode make I think it might have been in the WhatsApp group, you left a voice note about the conversations and us paying attention to what any of us are doing well in a particular place so that we can begin to duplicate those things, right? Mirror that. And I think that we have to have a mindset that applies across the board. We can't be singular in that thinking. That also applies to legal matters. Again, as I said, we want to romanticize the coming home to the motherland, but this is a mother that we don't fully know. And so we have to know, and that mother also doesn't fully know us. So we have to know ourselves. We have to be finally in tuned with the nuances of the laws, the traditions, spiritual beliefs, right? This isn't about judging. This is about knowledge and understanding.
I hear you.
And right. And so it's important for me to pay attention to what's happening in the Gambia. It's important to me to pay attention to what's happening in Sierra Leone or Senegal or Tanzania or Botswana or South Africa, because if we haven't gotten it yet, beloveds, we are everywhere. Everywhere, whether it's America, whether it's Panama, we are and who is going to take care of we but we?
Exactly.
Right?
And that's why we believe, because it's a collective. We've done it before. In terms of the here in Gambia, and and it was spread over in others. So I hear you 110%. We're not doing it and keeping it to ourselves. We are doing it and then putting it over as a model to anybody else that wants to do it.
And with some central oversight to know, what's going on, and to know where there needs to be lending a hand, and especially those who are even allowing themselves to be sort of the trailblazers or the lead team, if you will, the planters. They're going to automatically come up against opposition in some way at some point, whether you think it or not. It's gonna, even if it's subtle. We ought to be able to know that we're not walking alone. One of my very first calls to Chief Fode was when I got here and really saw the lay of the land and things. And he'll tell you, I called and I was like, I'm here by myself. I'm here by myself, and I need to not be by myself. So I know ain't no bunch of people coming to fly in here to help me build this thing. I'm the one. This is my assignment, but I can't be here by myself.
True.
You're not there by yourself either.
And so now I know I'm not. But initially I was like, oh, wait a minute. I gotta do this, and don't nobody know what's going on. You got to speak up. You got to let each other know. We have to pay attention to what is being done well, so that we can re-implement. Not everybody having 10 different people trying to start the same initiative as 10 different individuals instead of rolling out a new model. I don't need to build a new organization. There's already some amazing organizations taking place. Let me get involved with the organization so we can walk as a team. There's another sister that I met that has a language company. Some of y'all saw me when I first got here. I was like, oh, we got to get this language thing under wraps. And I was going to launch out some classes, all of that. I mean, I can do a lot of things. So, okay, whatever. I'll take the charge. I'm always going to be the one to say, I'll do it. And then I rolled into this sister. She met me, and I found out she had been doing that thing for 5 years. She got a whole platform already done. She got it rolled out country by country, right? Culture by culture. And I was like, oh, well, you just made my job easy. We don't even need to have no difficult conversation, sis. You good. I'm going to let you do that.
There's no need. There's no need to repeat
each one teach one.
Each one to each
Exactly.
one.
Yes,
real quick,
absolutely.
we have someone, Marcia Alexander, and also I want to address Nina. Yeah, so this is being recorded, Nina Smith. If you have anything you want to say, you have time now, you and Marcia Alexander, so we can take from the audience, and then we can get back to the panel. Marcia Alexander,
Hi.
greetings.
Greetings.
Sis.
Just excuse my voice. I came back from Gambia and the weather wasn't so kind to me in England. So I'm getting myself better.
That is you. That is for you.
But what I wanted to say is one of the things that we need to do and need to understand is to familiarize ourselves with the law of the land and also with the culture and the tradition, because some of the action that we will see and will have to face may not even be the law, it will be culture and tradition. And I know the Rastafari thing have a lot to do with their tradition and culture.
Definitely.
And you will find that these things is going to take place unless we come together as a people and let them understand who we are, because I think sometimes they don't know who we are. They are our brothers and sisters, but we don't know each other. As someone was just said, our mother don't know us and we don't know her. So that is
Mhm.
very correct. One of the other thing that I wanted to say is that in the area that we are setting up life to live is a place called Pirang, and the diaspora community there is very big. It's we have over 2,000 plots of land had sold out there to diasporans. Numbers of Jamaicans is there, and we tend to be followed by criminals wherever the diasporans set up and wherever the diasporans, you will find that criminality will start to take place in the area. Um, Pirang is a beautiful village, lovely place, landscape is beautiful, the people are beautiful, but you will have people coming from outside that is going to carry out what they the action that they want to carry out. How do we deal with these kind of things so that we can be safe? Because some people are alone, some people will be on their own, and they will be targets. If you don't have, especially a woman on her own, will be a target for these people. So how do we deal with these kind of things? The fortunately for Pirang, the community is talking about putting a police station in Pirang, which probably never had a police station, and they are talking about getting a police station in the village there, and that is something that I want to keep up on. And the nice thing about it is the police station is earmarked for right in the diasporan estate, which is very good for us. So
Mhm.
but there are things that we have to do for ourselves. If we don't do it for ourselves, nobody's gonna do it for us. And
I agree.
when coming to security, security should be one of the main thing on our agenda to deal with. And I would do whatever I can so that I can help who need my help in that aspect. So this is what I wanted to say. I have a great the, it's only last night somebody stole the battery out of my husband's car and COVID. So now we have to find somewhere else to park the car off the road so that the battery will be safe again. Or you take the battery out and go with it. But one of the things that we need to understand is that these things are getting so desperate that when they don't get what they want, your life could be in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Life could be in danger when people come after you and don't get what they want, because they're quite vicious, some of them. Gambia is a lovely country, beautiful country, and I wish that we could have be different. It hurts
Mm.
me when I see that we hurt each other. I always say to people, I rather Indian or Chinese or the white man do that to me than my own brother or my own sister. That hurts me because we should be loving and kind and looking out for each other, but sometimes we're very vicious and nasty to one another. And that's one of the problems that we are facing because we doesn't have that kind of love to love one another as we love ourselves. Okay?
Thank you, sis.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I think Nina Smith left.
Yeah,
So Nana Bina, I see you have your hand up.
Yes. You know, I think Sister Marcia was reading my mind. Because what she said was what I was actually gonna speak to. I just put together a conference here in Tanzania 2 weeks ago. And one of the people that was at the conference is a Gambian who lives in the UK. And so I, of course, I mean, you know, the fact of one of the unfortunate thing is when you do something good or when you're from a place, you end up representing the whole place, whether you like it or not, you know, or people will come back to you if you do something good, whether you sign up to be the provider or not. So I went to him and I'm saying, okay, I know you're one person. I know you don't even live there, but what is going on in your country? He's like, Nana Abena, what? So I told him what happened. And he was like, but you know, one of the things you have to look at, you can't look at it personally. Like they cut his locks because, you know, it was like he was targeted. Like it was, they were trying to do something to him. It's a law of the country that your hair is supposed to be a certain way and your clothes are supposed to be a certain way. And when you go to the courts and whatnot. And I'm like, listen, I understand that. And yes, we have to work to change those laws. But if it was a Muslim woman, they would not have told her to take off her hijab.
Right.
And a locks and a Rastaman is like a hijab and a Muslim woman. Okay? So don't give me that foolishness. And I know he's been in the country for what, 40 years or more than that? They know of him. They know what locks means to Rasta people. They know he's Rasta.
That's right.
Right? So whoever ordered it knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yes, a regular man, you know, I'm not a Rasta woman, but I have my hair locked. Okay, I mean, I can totally see me coming up in there and them telling me to cut it. But this man, you know he Rasta. You know it's his religion. There is no place on earth that somebody can tell me that they don't know that. Plus, in the Gambia, where he's been for all this time, so he was like, you know, okay, tell you what, y'all should just find like friends in, you know, some of these different institutions and then start making your case to them and, you know, lobby and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, we are going to boycott that country if y'all don't fix this. So anyways, I just wanted to say that that's one of the things that they use to say, well, it's on the books, the law says, and so we have to do it. I mean, we've been hearing stories of them cutting people's locks, students in school, even his own Ras own son, when he was in school, they cut his locks, you know, and people are doing it out of spite. Honestly, nobody can tell me that they don't know what locks here mean to people, right? It's that, no. So I just wanted to say, one of the things we'll have to come in order to amongst all of the other things that we have to lobby for, this is one of the things that has to be on the agenda. And we could probably connect with the Forum for People of African Descent and the initiatives that they're working on, and have them add this to that argument, or to their, you know, list of advocacy. And also, you know, in these countries, is there a Department of Religion? I don't know what it's called, you know, that we could, you know what I'm saying? Just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you this email and you need to read this and acknowledge this. And then, you know, but there's many ways that we can address that because, okay, it's in their law books, but it's something that they have to edit because, again, y'all going to treat Muslims a certain way and then treat Rastafarians differently. It don't work. So I think we can use that argument. And then, of course, any other organization or initiative that's dealing with human rights, we could come through that as well.
Thank you, sis, for that.
Yeah.
We definitely have that to be looked at soon, along with Malang Bojang, myself, and Zeb.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be speaking to he's here, the immigration main officer when Zeb returns back. So these are one of the many things we are hoping to carry forward, and we'll feed back to Ashay.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, if there's no more conversation from those who have gathered, I'd like for us to have a brief conversation. Brother Malang, you want to say a few words, brother?
Yes, good evening from my side in the Gambia.
Yes, greetings, brother.
The topic is very interesting today. What they started with is something that somebody has to look into it. I mean, it's a very important topic and a concern for everybody, not only the diasporans, let me call it that way, only returnees, but for us Gambians who know David very well. David has been in the Gambia since our childhood.
Yeah,
and then you look at my age and the time David is here, it's been a long time. So they have been called upon his right. We all felt it. People went to the social media. There were a lot of writings about it. People condemned the actions. We know what caused it. Like Nana once said, we are on the social media right now. Everything, or many people are here. Everything cannot be said. And then if you look at my position as well, I am not to comment on certain things or say certain things. But if you look at it, you know, it's very, very sad. If you look at his establishment, where he was during our childhood time, we used to walk by foot from our village to the other village that is called Tanje. I think many of you may have heard of Tanje, the fishing center. I mean, you know, if you pass the main village of Batokungu, you will not have any other house. It's only David's house, then the rest is all bush. He has a son. The boy came when he was coming, the boy was a baby, Bingi. And he's now married. So, you know, David hasn't been here he has been here for quite a long time. If Bingi can get a wife by now, you put Bingi's together and then somebody who is married, you know, that person has not been here for, let's say, 10 years, 12 years. If the child has to come here at the age of 5 years or even less than that, and then he is now married. It means the person has stayed for so long.
Yeah, man.
But one thing or the other should not make somebody to come against that person and then do what you think is right or you think you have authority. Against it, my colleagues against it, many Gambians against it. If you go to, there is a social media platform here that is called What's on Gambia. If you go there, you see the captions, you will see the condemnations, you go to the comment sections, you will see. Through that, you will know a lot of things, what has happened, and then you will know what has been our stand. Notwithstanding, we are still with him. We are in solidarity with him, despite the fact he is free, but he is somewhat a 71-year-old man. It's not like what Jalika said. He goes to court, he has to stand on his feet, and then all sort of things. It's bullying. To me, it's bullying. He has been bullied. And another part that I want to talk about is the year has come to an end in the Gambia. Those that are residing here, I think by January, you should start regularizing your status as at now. So if anybody has any difficulties, you can contact Jalika and then Jalika will get to me. Then I can help you with those ones. Then I will show you what to do and then I will tell you what to do. If it is necessary, we can do it together as one.
All right.
Thank
Is
you.
this for the residence orders?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
This is what I have to do.
Okay. Thank you, Malang.
Thank you, Brother Malang. You know, last time you said something too, man. I appreciate your presence here. It's important that we hear from our Gambian brothers and sisters on the issue, and that we know that the humanity is intact, because it just shows that, you know, one person or two people can do a nasty act and it can threaten to cause a divide between people. And we're already divided. We're coming home because we want to be reunited. The last thing we want is for these kind of things to happen. So it feels great to know that we have our own Gambian brothers and sisters who are there also, that's ready to recognize not only our human rights, but the human rights of the people in Gambia. When I came to Africa, I didn't come to get away from America. I came to get home. I wanted to be home. And I wanted my own efforts towards human rights and the struggle to be first benefited on the continent of Africa. And so some of us are coming home for the cause of liberation. Some of us are coming to bring justice with us. We want to be able to fight the fight with our brothers and sisters here on the continent. We don't want to be different. That's very, very important. So what you're saying, brother, you know, is well received. And like I said last time, I think we need about 1 million more of you, brother, across the continent that has a heart and has a brain that can think and feel like a human, bro. Like a regular person, man. Because sometimes it's hard for us to see that. As the diaspora, we meet people and it's like they just want to eat our money. We meet people, it's just like they don't want to understand our problems. They just want to take advantage of our situation. And so to know that, you know, even you're offering to assist those who need help staying within the laws of Gambia in their stay is commendable. I thank you for always making the time to be here, and Mama Jalika for even, you know, facilitating this contact. We need more of you, brother. I'm keep saying it. We need more, even here in Sierra Leone. We need more people in positions like you that can be sympathetic and understanding to what it is that we need to do when we come home. Because the reality is that without the diaspora returning, we won't have a complete African revolution. We're needed here. We're needed here. And so those who understand that and can help safeguard that, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, man. Sister Deborah Sawyer, you have some words?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my camera off just for bandwidth because sometimes the Wi-Fi is slow, but I hope you can hear me. So my question is for Jalika, who happens to be my neighbor and my accountability partner here in the Gambia. We always look out for each other. And Zeb as well. We had our meeting, ASHE meeting, I think it was this year or last year, where we had quite a lot of people attend. And I can't speak for everyone, but I think we were left with the feeling that there were so many suggestions made on the day, but we've not had any feedback. So we dropped our emails and I think contact number on the registration form. And I think the thing with us, those of us from the diaspora, is that, or on that day anyway, because most of us, or if not all of us, were from the diaspora, we were mainly concerned about safety, security, health, and who's going to contact who if something happens, you know, the practical stuff on the ground. But we've not heard anything back. And I wonder if others are thinking the way I'm thinking. Is ASHE still going? Does it still exist? So the question is for Juleka and Zeb. What's going on in terms of ASHE Gunju? Because I live in Gunju.
Okay. ASHE is still on the ground for me, and I will say that in terms of the second meeting that we had a poor attendance, but we took on board what was said at the first town hall. We thought it may be better that we do the virtual, so everybody could either stay in their own house and still be able to voice their feelings, their thoughts, but still getting to know who ASHE is. ASHE is not just me and Zeb. ASHE is a number of us on the continent. But going back to what you're saying, yes, there was a lot of questions on the first town hall. We needed some answers. I think one of the things that a lot of people were very, very interested in was about the app that came along, that we put forward in terms of the safety and security. Am I right in that?
That was one of them. That's right. I even forgot about the app, actually. I've forgotten. But that's true.
Yes. We also found that, yes, on the first meeting, we had a lot of interest. But we put out on the second meeting, and people just didn't attend. One of the things that we've just about done is do a WhatsApp collective WhatsApp group. I don't think you're on it, and I think maybe you needed, along with others, to either put forward your name and your contact details, which I think you did. I think because of the fact of not doing it in person and instead of virtual, I think that needs to be picked up. We have the names, we have the contact details. I haven't put that forward to the public relations, who would then add the individuals like yourself on the WhatsApp. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
But still, yet, if there's any more, you need to say now.
Yeah, I think it's the crossover. Out of sight is out of mind. Once people don't hear anything, the assumption, I know ASHE is still going on because I'm very close to you, Juleka. I'm with you out and about. But I think if they've come to a meeting or we've come to a meeting and they don't hear anything, the assumption could be what's going on, there's no update. However, correction, I wasn't at the second meeting. And I wasn't even aware that these online Zoom meetings was almost taking over from the in-person one. Yeah. So I didn't know that that's what the follow-on was. But now that I know, I'm better informed. So I know that this is where I need to be. But others, do they know? So maybe another way of communicating with them is contacting them somehow to say, if you want to know what's going on with ASHE, you need to be in these Zoom meetings. This is where it's happening. Then they can't complain as well. They can't complain.
Exactly.
Nothing's happening, because I've heard so much here tonight that I'm thinking, wow, okay, there's so much going on. But anyway, not to take over the whole meeting. That's the main thing I wanted to talk about. Plus one more question I wanted to ask as well in terms of Rastaman, because although I don't know him very well, I only met him once. And then the second time I met him was when we went to court. And from all appearances and people in court that day, people really did come out for him. Like he's very, very, very well respected in the community. So my question is, going forward, what is the suggestion or the practical steps that one can take in terms of not finding oneself in that position? For instance, yes, he admitted to having some, cannabis or ganja on him. Is it a case of those who consume it, just practical steps, like what do people need to do to avoid something small like that being blown out of proportion when we know there's a hidden agenda behind it?
Yeah.
In terms of, that's the reason why one of the reasons I invited the lawyer. He hasn't turned up. Because I wanted him to kind of put forward in terms of law around that, and he hasn't turned up. So in terms like Malan Bojang, he turned up. He's immigration. So all these things, in terms of the laws of the lands and the representatives of the laws of the land, I've invited them. They haven't come. I just think what Chief said earlier, if you know that you're going to indulge, you just have to be really, really careful. If you know you're going to go and buy, if you know you're going to have a liquor bit on you, you just have to be really, really careful. As my sister says, we are in the motherland, and we don't know our mother, and our mother don't know us. So it's about knowing ourselves.
Also, here we identify safe spaces for us. Places we can go and just be alone by ourselves and be our own diaspora selves, right? Our own 6 region culture. No problem with that. Nothing wrong with that. They have a place where the Muslims go when they want to get together. They got a place where the Christians go when they want to get together. We have to have a place where the repatriates can go when we want to get together. And even just to socialize. This is another thing. Just to socialize as much as possible helps us watch our back. If 10 of us go out to 10 different locations and socialize all weekend, it's way more dangerous than 10 of us going together and hanging out the weekend together. It's just a whole different security situation, right? I would say also that in regards to particularly the Rastafari community and those who indulge in marijuana as a part of their spiritual practice, part of their healing process, right? Some people smoke marijuana because they're sick. You know what I'm saying? Here in Freetown, we suffer from a lot of malaria and even typhoid. And when you have it, you can't eat. It kills your appetite. So when you smoke weed, you might have enough to eat, and if you don't eat, you won't have no strength. So marijuana can give you an appetite when nothing else can give you an appetite, and pretty fast. So I think what has to happen is like here in Sierra Leone since 2017, we've been leading a campaign to decriminalize marijuana. The Rastafarian community has led the campaign. It's not random people. The Rasta community themselves have organized themselves to be the ones who will lead this campaign. And so they're not only saying decriminalize it, but they're saying that they want the Rastafari community to also to be stakeholders in the legal production and distribution of the herb. Not just legalize it and leave the Rasta out of the deal. And so they're taking it practically to the government in a way where you can analyze the medical pros and cons. You can look at the financial aspects. You can look at how it can help treat mental health, mental illness, the way it assists pregnant women when they have problems eating and they got to feed that baby. It's a lot of things. And so most of us, whether we know it or not, we're malnourished and we're also living dehydrated. Those two things right there already leave us open to any sickness and disease knocking us down. And so education, I would say, around the healing aspects of marijuana usage and not only just for a smoking social thing, but as an oil, as other products, so people can see what we can do with hemp, what we can do with marijuana, the power of it. Because like we said earlier, the thing is for us to come back to the continent, introduce what we know from the West. Whether they take it or not, it's our job to show you what we doing and how we using the herb, right? And that there is nothing to be afraid of. That it's colonial fear. You understand? I still, all my life, I never met anyone who died from smoking marijuana. All my life, I've never seen it. The elders in my family will go to church on Sunday, and after dinner, they be smoking reefer. and so even Thanksgiving, Christmas, but they knew how to do it under the tree and out the way so the neighbors don't call the police, so it don't become a big problem. So just be smart with it. That's the first thing. Secondly, also, before we even say be smart and do it, you know, if it's not that serious, just don't do it. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're criminalizing yourself if you know it's illegal to do it.
That's right.
And definitely don't do it in public and think that the people ain't going to see an opportunity to grab you up. So it's just bad social decor. We also have to teach ourselves the proper way to go about earning respect on the continent. You know, I know big people, I know politicians here. I know, man, I've seen imams put it to their mouth, but you would never see it in public. You would never see it. They got a corner where they do their little secret thing and they keep moving. So I think it's the boldness of people coming from the West wanting to be so out in the open and blazing. We got to turn down the volume. We have to adjust to the speed of the countries that we're in out of respect for the countries that we're in. We should never impose our westernized open air marijuana smoking on a country that we know don't have that policy, don't have that kind of culture. It don't make sense. We should never come here and just push up on African countries and say, you need to accept me the way I am, because we're coming back with Western filth. We're coming back with bad culture. And it doesn't mean there's no bad culture on the continent, but it means we're the ones responsible for making sure that we clean our hands and our hearts are clean and our minds are clean when we move on the continent. It is nobody else's responsibility but ours to earn a good reputation for ourselves. Here in Sierra Leone, if you smoke weed, they think you're a dope head. But everybody does it. Everybody does it. It's just don't get caught, don't be stupid, don't be loud with it. It's a way to indulge. And even with drinking, you know, it's a way to go about it. Some people, they drink till they're drunk and they're acting crazy. Other people go to the corner and sip, and when they feel a little okay, they keep it moving. It's the same way. Consume responsibly. Responsible consumption. There's dangerous drugs out here too. You might think you're smoking some marijuana, it's something else. And you find yourself on a 6-month binge. You don't know what happened to you. And so we have to be careful. Avoid drugs if you can. If it's your holy sacrament, marijuana is not considered a drug. It's actually a herb. You know? So I would say this. The Rastafari community, particularly in the Gambia, should organize itself into a council. A council that represents the different mansions and have that council represent their interests to the government and to other interfaith entities that would be able to support them on a petition. We did a petition. We have 20,000 signers of our petition here in Sierra Leone. Now we need a politician to put it on the parliament table. And they're scared. They don't want. You got to get. You have to get a courageous parliamentarian to put this on the table.
They said it was one, but he's Muslim.
He's Muslim, and he would have got he would have got kicked back from his family, so he didn't do it.
Yeah, he a Muslim, and he do it, but
you know,
he couldn't do it. He couldn't be the one.
And he puffed.
Yeah,
he puffed, but he couldn't do it. And so it's like we have to build the relationships with the right people that understand that we're not coming home to make Africa worse.
Right.
Our desire is to make it a better place for our future generations to enjoy it together. Well, I think when that's understood and constantly reinforced in various ways, we're end up having a generation come after us that these conversations are going to be over. Yeah. They're not going to be having these first experience conversations. We're being the second generation. We understand ourselves now. And now we'll be building power in Africa together. That's the destiny of the African diaspora and the African continental. To return, reunite, build power together. It's power that we lack. We don't have the power. We don't have the power to stop them. It's power that we need. The power comes from us organizing ourselves. It comes from us understanding what's needed and building dual and contending power, a base of power that we can use on the continent. There's so much that we can do to help our people here, but we're not only here to help our people, we also need help in helping our people. And so these conversations are very much needed. We have ideals that are worth more than gold on the continent.
In skills.
Yeah.
Thank
Network.
you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I just to add to that what we said earlier, Sister Deborah? Hopefully, when I'm back in Gambia, anyway, I think we definitely have to look at the law around in terms of the legalities regarding why and how they would sort of cut somebody's locks. And I don't think it's part of laws in Gambia, because I would say like Sister Jalika pointed out, a lot of the laws in Gambia is based on the laws of the UK. And I don't think it's in the laws of the UK that you can cut somebody's hair just for the sake of, because it's got to be present in a particular way. So
I think it's something that's old, Zeb. I think we used to do that before, didn't we?
No, but I don't think
that's old.
It is.
They did,
maybe,
but you know
I don't
what?
think it's there.
They have a law. They changed the law in 2014 to protect people. They said people who typically shave their heads, beards, they shave. But if it's a person of like Rastafari faith, there's no demand to make them trim their hair. They shaved his hair even against their own law. 2014, Gambia made a law that they have to respect those rights of people. Amendment. And so when they shaved his hair, it probably was a police officer or a prison guard who didn't know he was that hey man, he got a right to have it.
That's right. But it's something that I think still needs to be challenged and looked at, and obviously for future reference.
It says a 2014 article in the Standard newspaper cites Section 6.6 of the Prison Act, Gambia, which states, all male prisoners on remand or waiting trial who usually shave and are received shaven shall be shaved by both. She'll be shaved both while under detention and on the day of their appearance in court. However, that provision concerns shavings of hair for those who usually shave, rather than the cutting of dreadlocks per se.
Right.
So, yeah, they shave you while you're there, and so before you go to court, they shave you. But if you're not a shaven man, they ain't supposed to shave you, bruh. That's the human violation, that they even have a law on their own record.
That's right.
That they're wrong. So civil rights is important because they violate the civil rights of African people in Africa all the damn time. The people don't be knowing their own civil rights.
They don't. They don't know. They don't know. I had that issue in the Gambia with an employer, and they thought that I was basically trying to start a mutiny simply because I spoke up for myself, and I was inspiring the rest of the staff to come against them. I was like, no, I'm not inspiring nobody. I'm just telling you, you can't do that to me because I know better. Right? There's a human rights council in the Gambia.
Exactly.
That's what we should be connecting with. Honestly, about this. We need to see if there's anything we can do within the human rights.
There's a human rights council in the Gambia. I find that there's a lot of these organizations or structures in place in these countries, but sometimes nobody actually challenges or provokes them to actually do what it is they say they are established to do. And so again, I say this is the power of numbers and the collective and unity that in the same way, if there's, 200 people in the collective in Sierra Leone and another 200 in over here in Benin and 5,000 in America and another 5,000 in the UK, etc. It doesn't matter if there's only 2 people on the ground. They carry the weight of everybody.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. Myself and Zeb are involved with an organization called Peace Network that works along with other organizations around human rights. So we can easily get attached onto them.
Yeah, we should. So what about the Rastafari community? Is there any way we can try to create a relationship with them as well? I talked to Brother O'Sheen. He said they're there, but they're not really organized in those ways.
Yeah, they're not very organized. They do come together, but they do come together mainly when they're having drumming and particular events. And this is what I was trying to organize when they're having Nyabinga and so on. They don't really want to sit down and really talk about certain elements. They want to go into the fullness of Nyabingi. I'm saying with Nyabingi and with sitting talking, that's what I was used to back in UK with 12 tribes. We came together, we talked, and then after we did the Nyabingi. So I don't really understand where that don't come together. If you get what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I will contact Brother Ochin and see if I can get in that way.
Man. I'd like to connect the Sierra Leonean rosters with
that would be a good one.
Nana Bina?
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to say that my Panadol is wearing off. So I have to go get offline. But before I leave, I wanted to just say thank you all so much for still pushing forward. And to something Sister Deborah said, as far as the meeting that happened in the Gambia and then what happened after, many of the things that we're dealing with, that we're doing, and the departments of government that we have to liaise with, oftentimes it's difficult to get that time to meet with them, to present whatever it is that we discuss in our meetings to them. So I know for sure, even with us, our situation here, we've had meetings, did our reach out, and they said, yes, let's all sit down and talk about what are the issues facing your community and how we could address it. And then it takes a while for them to have that meeting. Just like Sister Jalika said, a couple of people they had scheduled to join in the next meeting didn't show up, So not all of it is up to us. Unfortunately, we're all connecting to other departments that don't see it as urgent or important as we do. And oftentimes there's that situation. In addition, even our people and their follow through, because the next meeting we had, not a lot of people showed up, when you ask, okay, join this WhatsApp group, or even piggyback on something I said earlier, follow up, show up. It's on both sides, it's not a celebrity event. So it's, and in no way what Sister Deborah said was indicating that I'm saying that. That's my words, just based on what I'm faced with on the ground sometimes. One of the things that I was supposed to do was set up a meeting with the Red Cross to go over some of the emergency training things.
Right.
And I'm telling you, the Red Cross says we need 10 people to sign up. On our WhatsApp list, we have 100 and I think 155. And I would say, let's say 100 are physically on the ground in TZ. And you're telling me only 2 people? Only 2 people signed up? So I had to put it up. I had to contact the Red Cross people and our contact there and apologize, you know, because I'm reaching out to them because I'm telling them this is important for us. Can you guys, you know, come do this training? And then when people come to sign up, just because, I don't know if it's because they had to pay, but I find that, you know, y'all know when you're in the US and the UK, you pay for everything. Why when you come to Africa, you don't think you have to pay?
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I had to, just because the guy and I had I've been doing other things and including them, so they know that I'm not joking, why they don't look at me and think, you know, I'm a joker, because I set this date. I had to move the date twice, and the training still has not happened. So I just want to, you know what I mean, want to say that, yeah, like I want to move this along. I started up my thing today talking about somebody showing up at my gate.
Yeah.
And I don't have somebody to call. Like, do you think I'm like sitting down twiddling my thumbs? This is extremely urgent and important to me personally. And I know I'm not the only one. You know what I'm saying? But it's like everything is not coming together for us to move this along. And the last thing I'll say is, as far as the software development is concerned, the security app that we have created, we've had some challenges in finishing it up, like I said at the last meeting. And it's financial, because we've been funding it from ourselves. I took the advice of the people on the platform the last time we met, and I created a GoFundMe. I have a pitch deck, but I got pushback in, this is something that the police is supposed to do. You know, I've heard people starting stuff in other countries where the same police have shut them down. And so now this fair thing has been introduced into what we're trying to do. And I have people who are now on the fence. And I'm sitting down, I'm like, I'm trying to get ahead of this, because we can't be responding to stuff all the time. I don't want something to happen to me, right? And then we're gonna figure out trying to put the pieces together or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I have an adult daughter. I had to deal with her in tears on the phone, saying she's worried about me and the situation where I am. Like, I want to let my family feel that I can be that I'm safe, right, by whatever system we have in place. So this is something I am still dedicated to. I got a company in Ghana who was volunteered to help me for free, and so they've moved it quite along. I'm going to be able to present something by the next time, before the next time we meet. I'm looking at around in January, right? So yeah, we haven't given up on the application. I mean, just that, again, when we have a project that's paying us, we got to put it on the side, right, on that project. And I just want to say, this is my personal business, but I'm putting it out there. But that same project that we put the emergency application on hold for, is some issues with that same project that has sent up my blood pressure.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like,
hey, mama. Hey, mama.
So it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy doing for us what we need to do. So I'm gonna close out with this to say that everybody
finish now, sis. Finish now.
Keep trying, just keep pushing, keep supporting, right? I'll update the group as much as possible as we keep going, but we have to, and we can share ideas as to how we can motivate our own people to just come together and get some stuff done.
Yeah.
You know, Because you're gonna tell me with 100 people, we could not have furthered this along? It's ridiculous. So, I'm gonna,
Thank you for that. Thank you.
yeah, I'm gonna close out, but I'll get the recording. So again, peace and blessings and safety and health wishes to all of you. And
you, sis, and you.
I'm only gonna be down for a few days, but this soldier, don't give up. And don't
take your rest. Make sure you rest.
Take care of yourself.
Make sure you rest.
Like Baba FM said, get some sun, do some deep belly breath. If you get by the water, do some grounding, put your feet in the dirt.
That's right.
You know, drink some good coconut water. You know, meditation, whatever you need to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I will. All right. So one love, everybody.
One love.
Thank you, sis.
So I think we're about to close out anyway. We've been here for a while. I do want to close out, but this has been recorded and it will be updated as well. It'll be uploaded to social media as well. So thank y'all so much. We'll keep everybody posted on any updates. The link is right here to join the chat WhatsApp. For those who are just go in the chat and click that, it'll take you right to our WhatsApp group. Let's keep building, you know. As they say, Rome wasn't built in one day, right? But we're not building Rome, we're building Africa.
Yeah.
So imagine it's not going it's gonna take even longer than that. And so it's a process and we have to have enough love for ourselves before we can have enough love for anybody else, including Africa. So it starts with self, it ends there. Self is really the I in the I. We are the collective self. There's no individual self.
Yes, sir.
And so I just want to appreciate y'all for the time and the efforts. Let us keep working.
Yeah.
You know, those of us who've been ASE Collective almost 2 years now, we started off with a small group. We wasn't really clear on what we was doing. But now I think we understand more of what the purpose for ASE Collective is and the direction that we're going in. We have to come up with some way that we can galvanize, whether it be like a telethon, whether it be like we bring have one big virtual event or even something physical. We can converge in a location. We have to do something that solidifies ASE Collective as a formidable force so that we can gain the support and the recognition that we need. We're not doing it for that. None of us are doing it for fame. But when you're bringing forth solutions, they have to be recognizable solutions. People have to say, oh, I recognize that this is what I need. And so we're vying for that recognition, but we're not, it's not personal, it's collective. We should be recognized. Every African government should have a partner in the ASE Collective. Every African community should see a partner in the ASE Collective. We should find a way to keep security and safety at the center, because that's the only way people will ever come home is if it's safe. If they feel like if they get wrong, that they can have some redress. If you do me wrong, I can go to my people and you can get in trouble. But just wholesale target a diaspora, kill them, rob them, manipulate them, that's not going to float, because I know I know the diaspora, whether we're talking about Jamaica, talking about the brothers from the UK, from New York City, we don't play that shit. And I don't know if Africa thinks that's a game, but it's only going to take one situation for it to get out of hand, and then it'll be a ripple effect. And we're trying to keep it safe. We're trying to keep it peaceful and keep it productive. So with that, I just say thank y'all so much. I ask that the ancestors continue to guide us and protect us on this journey. They brought us this far. They will not fail us now. We have to know that. Regardless of the faith, it is those who came before us that got us here. And so we say Ashe to them. And I'd like to close out this meeting. Hey, the next generation. The next generation. Hey.
He was making noise and wants to see what is happening.
Yeah, man. That's the future, bro.
Yeah.
We're having this
Yeah.
conversation now, so Gambia can be a better place for him as he grows up.
Yeah.
Because I don't only care about what's happening to the diaspora. Forget about that. We're such a small population. What about what's happening to the average, ordinary African every day? I'm actively involved in trying to bring resolution to those problems. And we're doing it for the babies, bruh. We're doing it for the babies. They have to inherit a better Africa than us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So with that, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all so
All right,
much.
take care, family.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dee, for